the only wooden coaster manufacturer that made coasters from like the 80s to the 90s, and they didn't do too much for the companies, but they did form CCI, which was a much better manufacturer. So let's get started. First one, Raging Wolf Bob, which is no longer here. It was in Geauga Lake, and obviously it was demolished because like only like one or two of Geauga Lake's coasters really went anywhere. So I mean, that being Dominator and their Mindy Racer. So there you go. Yeah. So this was a pretty rough Woody, I guess. It isn't too great, and it's green because I've ridden this, and I didn't think too much of it. It gave some mild flow to air and those air tunnels in the middle. It wasn't too great at all. I don't think it was an outstanding coaster by any means. So, but it's definitely good for the park. I mean, it's not as rough as other Woodies. I mean, I feel like this was more rough than Shivering Timbers, but like, it was fine. All right, next up is Timberwolf at Worlds of Fun. It's their biggest coaster to date, I think, right? Yeah, and it's a much bigger coaster, and I've heard this one isn't as bad as the other ones. It's not. It's 50 miles per hour. It's a longer length, so probably had. I can't tell you too much about it though. Hercules at Zorney Park, they removed this one because it was a rough ride and it had a bad layout. There you go. Props to you, Dinn Corporation. Do you see that drop to 151 feet? That's crazy. That's why it was so rough. I mean, it was like, oh, 95 feet, that's nothing. But Dinn's like, we're going to drop you all the way down 151 feet and make you go 65 miles per hour as fast as the beast. And then it's just, it's not going to go so well. Then we got the Georgia Cyclone, which is a copy of the original Cyclone at Coney Island at Six Flags over Georgia. S-Fog, as I like to call it, but that's just me. Yeah, there you go. There's the Georgia Cyclone. It's pretty, yeah. All right, Texas Giant, and this was at Six Flags over Texas. It was a freaking big Woody, and it didn't. I mean, it was a fun coaster, but it got super rough towards the end of the 20s, the early 2000s. So they made RMC come over and do that, and now it looks freaking awesome, and I'd love to ride it. It probably isn't the greatest RMC, but it's still a fun one for sure. Next up's Predator at Darien Lake, and this coaster, I mean, it's a rough one. It doesn't give a lot of airtime, believe it or not. Darien Lake's coasters just aren't good enough. I don't understand. Like they have a ride of steel there too, and everybody knows that's the worst intimate of all time, and it's just not that great. All right, Thunder Run at Kentucky Kingdom. This is a good coaster. It offers some good airtime, as from what I've heard, and I mean, it's not huge or anything. It's just an interesting layout. It's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. I've seen point of views of this one. It's an interesting coaster for sure. Cyclone at Six Flags Magic Mountain, which has been replaced recently by Apocalypse the Ride by GCI, because apparently a copy of the original Cyclone wasn't cool enough for the park. So I don't know. So that they had this coaster for what, 16 years. So there you go. It wasn't too long. I'm sure this coaster wasn't that bad. I mean, it couldn't have been that rough, right? Because it was like a brand new one. I don't know. All right. And it's green because I've ridden it, and Mean Streak is as boring as it sounds. I mean, with those stats, it looks pretty appreciative. Yeah. It goes 55 miles per hour. It's got a big drop, pretty tall. It's like the seventh tallest wooden coaster in the world, and there it is. I mean, it's huge, but it's not really the greatest layout of all time. Not really any airtime to speak of, but it does have a lot of turns, so that's pretty cool. As you can see here in this picture, it's going through one of its many turns, and I'm pretty sure it has like the longest or second longest ride time at Cedar Point. So there you go. Next up's Pegasus at Efteling in the Netherlands. And this is Dinn's last coaster because the builders from Dinn went on strike. So Dinn Corporation dissolved and Intamin came over and finished it. And I'm sure it made it a lot better. Yeah, and from the looks of it, this coaster wasn't too crazy. I'm surprised that didn't happen during Mean Streak, so that Intamin could come in and make it a better coaster, but whatever. Wouldn't that have been sweet though? Like seriously, I just want to see some more Intamin Woodies because the American Eagle looks pretty sweet in my opinion, but apparently it's rough and doesn't get airtime. It doesn't matter. I just want to write it and see what it's like. So that was the video. Next up, we're gonna have Custom Coasters International. They made 34 coasters. I have to get working on that slides thing. Maybe I'll just do like a countdown or a review for the first time. We'll see what happens. Yeah, my opinions on coasters are a lot different from other people, so this will be interesting to see. I'll probably do a countdown for um the Six Flags Magic Mountain because I recently did a trip there. Like I'm from Michigan. I don't get to do trips like that very often. So all right, well that was that. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.